Hey team, hope you're all good. Harry here, just bringing you another little video talking on something that's come up quite a lot recently when having conversations with our clients and especially like looking around on social media and stuff. I just thought, it'd be nice to have a little talk about it now and express some of my thoughts on it. So the topic we're going to go through today is why we're feeling a little bit low. So mainly like energy, feeling quite low, tired, sluggish, and what we could be doing and changing in our day-to-day lifestyle to feel more energized. Easy as that. So there's 3 topics. There's, we could go through hundreds of different things. I'm sure it's an exaggeration, but I've brought it down to about 3 that I think are the most important that I want to go through today, and obviously so we're not going on a tangent and talking for hours. So first one is going to be, seems obvious, sleep. Second one, diet. There's all sorts, like I say, don't want to go on too much about that and then off on a tangent. And the third one is going to be about not becoming sedentary, especially in the time that we're in at the minute. So first one, like I said, is it really does seem so obvious, and you might think, you might be laughing at the other end of the screen that I can't see because I've stated the obvious. If we have a good night's sleep, a really good quality night of sleep, we'll wake up in the morning feeling energized, refreshed, ready for the day we're coming up ahead. So I wouldn't recommend getting less than 7 hours sleep. Because like I said, it's so important for us, especially in our recovery, for us to get as enough sleep as we can. Some people might find they will go to bed earlier, wake up a little bit later, and they might feel a little bit sluggish. I think that comes down to routine sometimes, maybe how active they've been through the day. But like I say, definitely getting as much sleep as we can, nothing below 7. Okay, I know for some people, whatever they've got going on, whatever their work life is like, it's hard. If you struggle getting to sleep, which I'm going to go on to in a second, I'll talk about a routine, which I think is key. I think a lot of the time we get too distracted by what we've got going on around us. I mean, we've got, we all tend to watch a little bit of television before we go to bed. A lot of people will have televisions in their room. I wouldn't necessarily want to finish my day watching TV. My bedroom, that's where I sleep. It's not where I watch TV. I've got nothing against people that have TVs in their room. It's really cool. I really want one, but yes, I almost think it's sort of difficult then to switch off if you, especially if you've got such an alert brain. Some people don't find it hard at all. Like myself, I could, as soon as I hit the pillow, I'm off. I do like my sleep. So getting yourself into a sleep routine, try not to watch TV in bed. Try not to, try to give yourself a bit of time between the TV, getting yourself ready for bed, brushing your teeth, having a drink of water, taking whatever you do before you go to bed, and especially any other bits of technology we might have, an iPad, our phones on us. Try not to have that up in our face. I know some, you can get some apps, or you can even dim the brightness on it. Yes, it works. There's studies out there that show it works, but I think we need to. It's scary sometimes. You can go on your phone, you can have a look at how active you're on it on some days, and I think sometimes it's a bit scary to see how long you spend on your phone, especially at night, because I think it breaks it down sometimes into what times you specifically use it the most. So that's what I'd definitely say as well. Some people, like you said, some people do struggle to, as soon as they get down and lie down, they do struggle. Like I said, they might have a really active brain. They're not can't stop thinking. Loads of things are playing through their mind. And I think if you try and change something, go to bed really early. Let's say, you try to go to bed at 9, and then you're next thing it's 2 hours have gone by, you're still awake, or you've woken up in the middle of the night and now you can't get back to sleep. Definitely look at supplementing maybe zinc or magnesium into your into your lifestyle or into your diet. Like I say, through supplements, because magnesium. I use magnesium in like Epsom salts. It's a good muscle relaxant. Makes me feel pretty sleepy and tired after. So I definitely advise on that if you are struggling with your sleep. And also another point that a client did bring up was they were saying how they were going to they haven't really changed much about their routine. They always get about 8 hours of sleep, I think, or they were always going to bed at 10, 11 and getting up around 7. Yeah, about 11:30 to 7, 7. And was still struggling, still feeling quite sluggish. I don't know if they had a busy weekend like a few days before, who knows. But something we said, try, just don't set your alarm. Obviously, if you've got to be at work, set your alarm. Or if you've got something to be important, set your alarm. I'm not going to be able to help you out when you're late for work, and you can't blame me. You can try, but yeah, if you haven't got much on to do, just don't set your alarm. Soon as you wake up, and let's say the sun's just come out, it's 5 a.m, and your body has just woken up. Don't let yourself go back to sleep. Okay, try and wake yourself up. I'll go on to later about caffeinated drinks. How it's a stimulant. Your body's just woken itself up. It shouldn't need a stimulant. That being said, I do drink coffee myself, but like I said, I'll go on to that in a minute. But that's basically what I was going to say about sleep. I'll go on to my next point now, which will be diet. Now, in the we were talking again, like I said, we were talking with clients, and a lot of them were saying they've got a problem at the minute. Some of them haven't really changed how active they are. They're still working, or they're still as active, whether that's training or whatever. Some are less active now. They're not at work, and non-stop hungry. And we talked about how sometimes, you may not feel necessarily hungry. You just can't help yourself. You're just picking at things, snacking. Let's talk about snacks and what sort of things we're putting in our meals. And we want to sort of stay away from refined sugars and refined grains. So to break that down quickly, or refined carbohydrates, like carbohydrates broken down into sugars. Like I said, I'm not going to go through it all now. But the refined stuff, quickly, is processed stuff. So it won't hold a lot of nutritional quality. And they're often known as like empty calories, because yes, there'll be however many calories, but they're lacking in your micronutrients, so your vitamins, your minerals, a lot of fibre as well that you get from fruit and veg, and also as well as they hold quite a high glycemic index, so there'll just be a sudden spike in your blood sugars and your insulin. After the meals. So then for a second you'll be really high, you'll be on a sugar high or a hyper, and then all of a sudden, when that does wear off, you'll be, in the opposite, going into a low, again feeling tired, low, sluggish, and then it's tricky because then, you may not necessarily be hungry, but then you'll look for that quick fix of another refined carbohydrate of some sort, just to give you that pickup again. Sugar is dangerous sometimes. So really, you want to minimize refined carbohydrates as much as you want. Refined choices in your meals and your snacks for sure. And you should feel more energy. Like I said, I think if you were to pick better choices with more fibre. So remember, fibre, your micronutrients like your vitamins and your minerals. You will feel more energized. And like I said quickly, like fruit and vegetables and stuff like that. Think about what you're having in the morning for breakfast. Try and stick away from like some of the cereals that we've got. Like I said, is high in sugar. And you will feel, for a couple minutes, maybe an hour, you will feel high, and then you all of a sudden plummet. And quickly, like I say about caffeinated drinks, they do dehydrate you, which I'll go on to hydration in a second. So don't almost rely on it, which I said about earlier with the sleep. Don't think that, when you wake up, you need that coffee, because your body has just woken itself up. Unless, your alarm has just gone off, but you've woken yourself up. That caffeine's a stimulus. It's like over time it will take, it could be the same with alcohol. It will take, if you're always binging on alcohol, eventually it's going to take so much where you're going to feel that hit or the effect of alcohol. It's the same with caffeine, and that's when you find yourself, you're 9 cups of coffee down in a day, and that's what you're doing to keep yourself awake. So if you can, especially if I'd find if you're at home, if you're not working in the minute, don't have that coffee in the morning, or cut it down as much as you can. And like I said, I do have coffee myself. I will be honest with that. I probably have 1 to 2 cups a day. Also, just as I'm on that, I wouldn't I don't advise drinking it. I never personally drink it past 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Because, caffeine can disrupt your sleep. You'll go to bed later on, and then you'll be, wired all night. You'll be up all night thinking all sorts. So yeah, that's caffeine. Another one on diet is hydration. Dehydrated state makes you feel tired. I think it's 30 to 40 mils of water you want to drink per kilogram of body weight. But also you need to remember, like, biochemical reactions. If you're quite active or whatever, you're sweating it out. That's just an example. You need to replace that. You need to replace the water you've lost. So I won't go into too much of that, because there's all sorts of ways you can keep track on that. But that's depending on your, like I say, your activity levels. So you need to be mindful of that. I always say something different about out-training a bad diet. You could train really hard, but if you're not fueling yourself properly, it's the number one thing. It's like biggest thing of all of this. Protein, not consuming enough. Obviously protein's there to aid in our recovery. Again, talking about that training. If you've been training and you're not recovering as well, you possibly need to have a look at your protein intake. If you're feeling tired still the next day, like you say, your muscles and everything are really sore. Yes, they will be, but like you don't feel you're recovering as well. Possibly having a look at that, as well as like protein. Has been said, like it increases metabolic rate better than carbs and fats sometimes. And also, whilst on that note of not calories, that's what I'm going to go into, but on that note of tracking, maybe tracking your calories over this time, see how much you're getting in, because obviously if you're not getting enough calories in, that's another factor to consider why you might be feeling tired and a little bit slow. So that's all the main things, like I say, quickly crammed in. The last one I want to talk about is probably like one of the most, like I say, I've put in 3 points, one of the most important for this time. Don't become sedentary. So, like I said, a lot of you are still working. How active you are hasn't really changed. For a lot, it has though, Some of you are still training as normal, which is brilliant. Like, we love it, and we love the enthusiasm that you still are pushing yourself towards your goals. But I almost, this is why I wanted to put it in. You've got to think, if you train once, twice a day, whatever you do, you're looking forward to, let's say you train first thing in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, for example. You've done your session, smashed it, but then for the rest of the day, you're just going to sit on the sofa. When you'd usually be, let's say, I don't know, quite an active job, you're always walking around. That's what I mean. You want to keep yourself as busy as possible. I know it's really easy for me to say. You might have 101 jobs to do in the house or, at home, wherever you are, and you've got them all done. But just, try and keep yourself as busy as possible. Make the most of the time that we've got. I said as soon as we went into lockdown, when it was just an hour of exercise a day outside, make the most of that before it's gone, because we didn't know what the restrictions would be like. Obviously now it's unlimited time. perfect. Make the use of, we can travel now to embark on whatever you want to do. Go for a nice long walk up on the moors, whatever you fancy doing, but honestly, really make the most of it. If you do have a watch of some sort that's able to track your steps, try and keep your goal of, I want to at least be hitting 10,000 steps a day. Plus you work out in the morning. Keep yourself moving as much as you can. Make the most of the days. If you're talking from like an athlete perspective, if you're quite endurance-based athlete, and you feel like on some rest days you're feeling quite sluggish and stuff, there you go, perfect. Get out there, get moving, find something, maybe a mobility session to keep you moving, or something to keep you ticking over, because for some, I wouldn't classify myself as an endurance athlete, more of a sprinty person, more of a fast twitch muscle fibres than, like I say, an endurance athlete. So when I have my rest days, I love them. I wouldn't be doing like some sort of active recovery day, but if you're an endurance-based athlete, get out there, get active. But yeah, that's all the things I've got to discuss, the 3 points. Hopefully that was helpful. If if you're more than welcome to get in contact with us, let us know how you're doing. Put in the comments below what you thought, and we'll catch you all very soon. Otherwise, take care of yourself, and we'll speak to you later on. Cheers, guys.